illustrate what a nice face looks like?
A nice face looks like this.
Yeah, I'm not getting that.
Yeah, no, it's that's crazy. Then see, and right there, if you were part of our Patreon, you'd be able to see the nice face that I just made, which was indeed very nice. And
I don't know. We're gonna have to let the fans be the judge of that one.
I think it was well, if it was not so much nice, it
Well,
was
they may
fake.
say it's not genuine.
But what about me would ever be disingenuous?
I, I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
that
know,
I'm one of the
King.
I think I'm one of the most
Disingenuous
totally
people? Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
I think I
Disingenuous?
Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm like record breaking disingenuous. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 38 of Tights from My Mind. I am the Pantyhose King. With me is,
The Commodore.
AKA my own private hell.
You're
Who's
welcome.
and Today we're going to be giving you more of Pantyhose origin stories. So we got a couple of stories here, and I'm going to read them to the class. Are you ready, Commodore?
I have been waiting for this for a while.
Now, I was very proud of like if you want to check out last week's episode too, Commodore gave his origin story, and it was really interesting. Do you have any thoughts about like sharing your origin story? That like anything that you forgot, any fun little like anecdotes? Just want to see if there's anything for you there.
Oh, about my origin?
hmm
Oh, yeah, it's just the usual. I enjoy pantyhose. It's my
Yeah,
stuff.
I just like them. They're just good. Well,
Yeah, they nice.
what?
I said they nice.
They nice. I like pantyhose. This tastes good. I'm gonna have to put the font to like 48 because I have the eyes of an ancient person. Okay,
It
and by
happens.
well, yeah, I know. I mean, it literally, I know it's I have the bad eyes. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
what. I'm gonna put on my
that you do.
reading glasses. So we got a story from Frank. That's just gonna be Frank's story, and we're going to beginning now. Started early, age 4 for me, and it was because my sister did ballet, and I would get dragged to the studio because I was the youngest of 4 children. I never
Hmm.
took part in ballet, but watched my sister and her friends all wear dance tights every class. So after a year or so, I noticed that I was really attracted to the tights and would sneak into my sister's room and steal her tights and feel them. At first, it wasn't a sexual thing. I just liked the feeling. It was in the early 90s at this point, and most of the movies and TV shows had women in sheer pantyhose. And then I started to take a notice in that. Isn't that sort of funny? So many people talk about the 90s and the pantyhose stuff. I don't remember the panty. I remember it being like the
I'm
80s.
actually I'm watching Seinfeld right now, and all the women are wearing pantyhose. And
It's
then
interesting. Yeah.
so watching Frasier, the first 5 seasons, the women all wore pantyhose.
They did.
As it got closer to 96, 97, that bullshit with Sex in the City just
Yeah, Sex and the City.
absolutely ruined ruined the pantyhose.
Yeah, it did. Sex and the City really was the thing that took it out. So, but
Bunch
they're
of
coming back.
horseshit.
But they're coming back. They're coming back. He started taking notice of pantyhose. Okay. My dad is a huge Star Trek fan, and we watched the original series from the 1960s where all the women wore black pantyhose and short skirts. I really started to fall in love with hosiery, but hadn't put them on yet. It wasn't until the age of 7 that I tried on a pair of my sister's tights. They were closer to pantyhose than tights, and but they were thicker and silky. I would have only worn them. I only wore them during the night under my PJ bottoms. I was never caught wearing them, but was caught with them and raised all kind of hell with my mother. I really didn't understand this because she really didn't understand why I love these tights. And when she asked me why, I said, "Mom, I don't know." My mom threatened to force me to wear dresses and pantyhose and made me feel horrible because I like pantyhose. Oh, that's
That's a that term direction to the worst.
that's a. I mean, I think that would be an abusive behavior to try to humiliate somebody to corrective behavior using humiliation, but that hurts to
Yeah,
read. Sorry
doesn't
about
seem
that.
right.
Um, okay, so but and then he said I would steal my sister's tights pretty much for the rest of the time that she wore them. She stopped wearing them once she was in high school because fashion had changed in the late 90s and early 2000s. Oh. My sister is one of the primary reasons why I never had a why I have a pantyhose fetish. She never knew it. It was never sexual. She just was the spark that started the fire. I can remember the first time with another person in hose. But the most memorable one was a guy I met on Craigslist back in the day. Oh, Craigslist. You know,
I can't believe like Craigslist took away their personals and
I
Backpage got shut down. It's like,
it
don't we have
was
bigger issues pressing in life? Like
I don't
instead of worried about people's sexuals,
I don't
like
why
encounters.
I can't even remember why it got shut down. It was like a huge sting, wasn't it? Like it was like what was the deal? Like it was such a great place to
It
meet
was
people.
they said it was prostitution and human trafficking,
Yeah, okay.
which I'm sure there was peddling going on, but it was not the majority.
I
Like if you're
think
talking about cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, Boston, yeah, you're probably dealing with human trafficking, but like
from what I
Oshkosh, Kansas, like give me a break.
yeah, and from what I would imagine, from what I understand, the way that they've talked about human trafficking and how it's evolved, is that a lot of it is more the victims know they're perpetrators. That it's not solely, people being, taken advantage of by strangers, that a lot of times there's a familiarity, there's a bond there, but I digress. So back when Craigslist was a thing and it was cool, okay, and taking it down did not stop human trafficking. So good job, government, or whatever decided that. Like Craigslist is gone. A lot of people didn't get laid, and the problem's still here. So, okay. So I
Yep.
hadn't had many sexual encounters with women by the time I was 20, and I was starting to explore more pantyhose porn online, and this included cross-dressing and shemale porn, which I guess shemale porn.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
at this point, I'd say I was getting off to 90% heterosexual porn and 10% homosexual porn. So seeing a cock in hose did not phase me at all. I don't think it should phase anybody. I mean, unless of course you're just like not prepared for it. Like if you're flashed, like maybe that could see that being a thing where you'd be phased. But like, I think at this point, if you're like wearing them and you have a cock, you could be like, that's a cock nose. I don't think it should phase. I started looking at ads on Craigslist for people looking for casual encounters and noticed a lot of cross dressers slash transvestites, and I wanted to explore more. I sent emails trying to arrange hookups, but nothing ever came of it. This went on for a few months, and at some point, I decided to put up an ad of my own. I had a few pictures of myself from the waist down in pantyhose, and I attached them to my ad. It was amazing. People could do that. Like and this was before people knew like how to catfish. It's like
Hmm.
they like catfish.
It's when the internet was in its infancy and people
Yeah,
used it the way it was intended to be used.
yeah, exactly.
Not the way these kids have just destroyed the internet.
The catfishing. Oh God, but people, I mean, the kids haven't, it's not just the kids, plus you're a kid. Also, it's not just the kids, it's everybody. Like you see guys in their 50s, 60s, 70s posting pictures of themselves from 19, you know, 80, and you can tell that it's from 1980. It's like, how recent was that picture? Well, 30 years ago, but I feel it's a good representation of like my what I look like. I'm like, yeah, it was what you look like 30 years ago. But I digress again.
But
I
I
mean,
take a look at the people that look at that photo and go, that's recent,
I know, right? Like it's
right? How
almost
granulated it is. It's like, really,
Mhm.
you really think that's a recent photo?
Right. Or the people go, I don't have a photo of myself. I'm like, really? You don't have the ability to take a photo of yourself with anything? No.
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
funny.
okay, so you use a rotary phone still? Just saying.
I
Like
wish. Those phones are amazing.
those were cool. You could brain a fucker with them. He had made it very clear. He said, I made it very clear I wanted to wear pantyhose and have whomever answered wear to as well. I had many pairs of pantyhose this time and was willing to provide the person who was willing to play with me any pair that they wanted to use. That's nice. That's generous. I ended up getting a lot of responses, but once I asked if they wear hose, they drop off the planet. I was about to give up, but I got a response from a guy around my age who wasn't into hose but was willing to wear them. We arranged to meet up one night, and I was excited to finally be able to play with someone in pantyhose, but a little disappointed it was a guy and not a woman. But at this point, I would have taken anything. When I arrived at his place, we had some small talk, but we both wanted to play, and I handed him a pair of nude hose and explained how to put them on. I was already wearing a black pair when I came in and was as hard as a rock. We played around, rubbing each other with our hands, and at some point he dropped to his knees and started, guess what? I don't know if I should be vulgar because I'm afraid we'll get like hit for the age thing, like no one 18 or under can watch this. So we'll just infer what's saying. So despite the lack of sex I had at this age, I had remarkable stamina and was able to hold off blowing my laundry detergent.
Cloud.
No, I think that blowing cloud isn't that pot when you do it? Blowing a cloud? I think it is.
So we'll just say,
Blowing my detergent, blowing my nose.
or blowing your yogurt.
It's got probiotics. After a few minutes, I told him I wanted to uh, fornicate him, and he got on all fours in the bed and put his donkey in the air. I already had some liquid
Detergent.
detergent near, and I could liquid detergent my rooster and his uh, sinkhole. We we fornicated for a few minutes before I blasted my detergent into this very yeah,
Into the
and
washer. Yep,
into the
got it.
washer. Yep. And I said I let him keep the hose because he said he wanted to play again sometime. This was the first of many times we played together. When it comes to relationships and pantyhose, I've always told anyone that I was getting involved with that I enjoyed seeing women in pantyhose. I never really told them about my interactions with men in pantyhose because I genuinely prefer women in pantyhose. Hmm.
Don't we all?
Well,
No, we
no,
don't all.
no, we don't. If someone wasn't willing to indulge me in wearing hose during sex, I didn't want to be with them. That's it. You take a firm line. You say no. Like, I don't know if necessarily that's a good stance to take. Like to say, well, if you don't wear hose, you can't fuck me. I think maybe I would suggest people to try to bend a little bit more. Like, what would you do? What's your approach, Commodore, with like if you
Oh,
have somebody that's
I don't
reticent?
fuck. I don't fuck unless they're wearing them.
You haven't had to like finesse a little bit somebody a couple times?
Oh, to get them to wear?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Had to
Yes.
finesse a little bit, but guess what? We didn't fuck until they wore.
Well, yeah, but you
We
didn't
also didn't
just
go on the second date unless they were wearing.
wow. You are you're a meanie.
No, I know what I want.
I know what I want.
I'm not gonna waste time. Life's too short. You either get with the picture or you don't. And that's fine. There are more women on the earth than there are men. So
I really do think you would be surprised at how different your narrative would go if you were ugly. I mean, honest to God, like you
that is true. I
like
probably would have been like, "Will you just take me?" No, because you know what? People don't ever want to settle, and that's in human nature.
what people
They always want to conquer.
lots of people settle. You see it
They
every
they
day.
they settle. Society lately has beaten people down to like not wanting to allow them to succeed and conquer. But it
Yeah.
is in our genuine nature to seize and conquer. And so these small things that we get victories on, such as for those of us that are pantyhose fanatics, is getting someone that we like to wear. It's a small victory.
I'm like a trophy
It's a
collector.
huge feat, but it's a small victory.
It is actually, like, and I thought about that too. Like, I'm like, well, my story might have been different if I had not, been gay and good looking. You know, maybe all the preaching would be a little bit more horseshit. So I try to keep that in mind. But to bring it back to the story, sorry. We're just going to take a brief pause for Commodore has diarrhea. Sorry about that, Commodore.
Oh, wow. Wow. Better shelf me.
Oh, you feel better, Commodore? That must have been rough for you. I'm going to go ahead and say here that Commodore didn't actually have diarrhea. I just got a text and I needed to respond to it. And the first thing I thought was, you know, why not blame it on the Commodore? Sounded like how you blame it on the dog.
Oh, so I'm being compared to the dog now?
Yeah, well, it's like I didn't want to admit that I had the issue. Like I was the one who farted. So I just said, well, it must have been Commodore who farted. Anyway, back to our story at large. So, as we were saying before, he was if someone wasn't willing to indulge me in wearing hose during sex, I didn't want to be with them. This included stockings in this consideration because stockings are easier for sex with women. Yeah, I mean, okay, what's your thoughts on that? I don't. Stockings are like a. It's sort of like I
It's a
appreciate the
cop
F.
out, but
Yeah,
there are body types where crotchless pantyhose don't work. So
yeah,
one of
it's
my
true
ex-girlfriends could wear, she preferred wearing crotchless
because it
pantyhose
airs.
to
Because it
regular.
air.
No, she just preferred it.
Hmm.
It was easy access and it fit her perfectly. Then my other ex, she didn't want the crotchless pantyhose. They didn't quite fit right on her
Hmm.
because she had a nice butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then she goes stockings, and she would get the ones that go like way up tall on the thigh.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that is a good. It's a good midpoint, but preferably for me, it would be the pantyhose. But I will. That's acceptable. Now he
The
says
pantyhose are my preference as well.
I think so. I think we're right in that belief. It's either you like them or you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding, but not really. So Frank says, I don't wear in public and I really don't want to. If I can wear a pair of hose around the house every now and then, I'm happy. I don't see hose as a fashion item for men. I see it as a sexual item. Interesting. That's the first time we've had somebody come out and say, I don't fucking care about it. Like wearing openly, I just like it in bed.
Yeah.
Very, very cool to hear. That's a unique, brave thing to say. I think a lot of guys feel that way too, but don't want to admit it. If a man wants to wear them in public, more power to them. But if they want to wear them in the bedroom, then that's another story. The best quote pantyhose sex for me was actually with one of my girlfriends that agreed to wear stockings and a garter belt while we had sex. She had very little experience with wearing nylons and didn't even know how to put them on. I was in her living room helping her attach the garter belt to her black stockings with a massive cum saw the entire time. We fornicated only twice that night, and as soon as we were done, she took them off. And I said, and I did ask him, I said, well, I guess I'm curious, do you find SCX with men less satisfying or just different? And he said, well, I wouldn't say it's less satisfying, but it is different. I've never found a man or a woman that was really into hose. I kind of spoiled myself with PORN when I was younger, but with actual pantyhose, it would be the guy I mentioned in my prior story, but with a different encounter. We had played together a few times, and I was always the TOP at the times. This time he asked if he could, you know, flip the switch. I was hesitant because I was still battling with my sexuality and was trying to figure out what it was. I knew I wasn't gay, but I wasn't straight either. I was only attracted to men in hose. Okay, pause on this, fellas. Let's clear this up for like there is no such thing as pantyhose sexuality. I can't claim like if I'm wearing pantyhose and if okay, imagine if I'm saying like I only want to fuck women when they're wearing pantyhose, but I'm not attracted to women. Like it's sort of like saying like I only fuck women if they're wearing a bra or a t-shirt or shoes. It's clothing. I think it's okay to admit that you are bisexual. And if that, I mean, whatever the case may be, that's just sort of like the reasons why the labels exist. I mean, how do you feel, Commodore? I mean, like,
I gotta side on this guy because I saw a documentary on a girl that gets off on one thing and one thing only, and it's an inanimate object. It's a roller coaster. Shoves her fingers into the gearbox. She plays with the oil, and she's like getting herself randy. But
yeah,
but I don't know if other roller coasters will do it. I think she just likes that one.
I
So
mean,
for pantyhose would be the inanimate object, and you get to the point where the sexuality part of it is the pantyhose. It doesn't matter who it's on.
mm, mm.
Because I'll say this much, like I don't like most of the women. Like it's just a a port of convenience because I like doing my thing with females. But there have been
You
times
mean you don't
where
like
I've had sex personality, I don't like body type. It could just be the like how they conduct themselves, right? Whether they're showboaty or they dress down and like they just don't build up to the image that they said that they would do.
so you are against people who put on pretenses?
No, to
No.
each is
Well,
their own.
so like but you're okay, so you're saying like you'll slum it for pantyhose.
I'll
Like or
slum it.
yeah, like you're saying like you may not be attracted to them, but pantyhose are there, so you will slum it.
Yeah, I'll go with where the panties are going. And I do this at bars too. And it makes the more attractive women wonder why not me? And I will make a point that my hands are rubbing the legs and stare them down to let them know that the Sex and the City age is over.
But isn't that still you being straight, regardless of like the
Well,
like
it
the?
doesn't matter if it's straight,
But I'm
bi,
saying,
gay. It just if the person has a certain object, they can say like my sexuality or my sexual tense revolves around this object. Like for instance, pantyhose. And he's mentioned several times that it doesn't matter who it's on as long as they're on. And I gotta side with him because that's how I am.
but only with women.
Yeah, I'll do it with only with women.
That's because of the heterosexuality. I'm just saying that like I've talked to a lot of guys who like say I'm a pantyhose bisexual and they've slept with, let's say dozens of guys, but they claim
Hmm.
that they would never even think about it ever if they weren't wearing pantyhose. And I'm just saying that I don't know if I necessarily believe that story because I think that's an easier way for people to deny the fact because every time I have to hear, I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I heard the opening sentence, I'm not gay, but like I
Everything everything preceding the butt means nothing.
it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like I think a lot of guys just don't want to, they're not okay with the fact that it's just calling yourself bi is going to put you into a box and you may not want to click with that box. It's obviously easier to be in the majority where you're just like, oh, I only like women and the dozens of guys that I slept with that wear pantyhose. But so that's sort of guess my point is like I feel like it's okay to just be like instead of giving this like this reason why you can only do this with men if pantyhose are involved. To me, it seems like more of a defense mechanism than it is actually something that needs clarification for me.
Right.
That's all. But and I'm not judging Frank by saying this. I'm just saying,
No, no
maybe
one's saying you're judging. We're
no,
merely creating an opinion piece based on our experiences and our knowledge of the Tights frame of mind.
it's there we go. Nice one. Good one. Okay, so Frank says, anyway, I agreed to, I think he said bottom for him, and this led to a dominant submission relationship with him. We both wore hose every time we did it, and the way he did it to me that night really challenged my way of thinking. I went from a hose loving top to a SLUT bottom in one night. They both got STD tested regularly, and once they shared the copies of the results, they agreed to have unprotected sex. And that is a long story short. Our pal Frank developed a fetish for breeding, which I don't know if you know what that is. Uh, do you know what that is, Commodore?
Though well, I know when women say they have the breeding thing, they pretty much just want to have sex to
Yes, no,
have
it's
kids.
okay. So when men do that, it's they just have sex so they want to take in all of the natural juices. They have like sort of like they kind of feel like they're going to get pregnant, but they can't. Like it's sort of similar, but not really. It's just sort of like fill her up kind of thing. They want to be.
Oh,
It's
oh, it's a come and go station.
Yeah, pretty much. It can be in this in Frank's situation. It seems like this was very like it's fine and not dangerous. People who have it and do not take any, like uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Precautions.
Hmm.
That's how you catch all of the good stuff, such as the clap or syphilis. Apparently, I mean, at least in the gay community, nobody seems to be worried about HIV anymore because they've basically turned it into diabetes. So now everybody's like, oh, we can all have sex without condoms on. And I'm like, yeah, there's still a bunch of other ones that we haven't learned how to lock down yet, but okay, sure. Uh, the but basically what happened with this the fellow is that they lost contact and that they were both in college at the same time, and he assumes that he moved back to wherever that he lived. And then, whoops, 1 second, I just got to switch back here because that's the final part. And then Frank, that is Frank's story, because now one of my things that I was curious about, and I didn't get to ask Frank, but I wondered, you know, what what could have what stopped him from kind of pursuing the relationship with this guy? It seemed like they had something going on, and then it just never happened again. And my thoughts are is that maybe having if you might have been people could be more okay with just sort of like who they are as far as sexuality goes, maybe things might have been less locked off. And I wonder if Frank will tell us more about it. I did have another story real quick that I can go into. This one was, and I'm just going to sort of give it in a short form because the person who wrote me about it is really nice guy, really sweet guy, but he uh he talked about how he wore them when he was young and he got caught by his father, and his father like beat him with a belt so bad that it was that thing. So he actually lived with his father until his father died. He's a special needs guy. Uh, and then now he's taking care of his mother and he still wears them in secret. And I said, well, do you know anybody who is aware of you wearing? And so basically, for the happy ending is that he is engaged and the person he's engaged to is okay with it, and that he'll be getting married soon. And and that was a thing. But I think what really broke my heart about that one was that we forget that there are people out there who probably have had probably more than not.
Their fair share of traumatic
Yeah, and
experiences, situation for the guy.
yeah, but he's like I said, that the happiness is that he's found his of someone who appreciates him. So that's Charles, if you're listening, thank you for sharing that. And the final
Yeah, it's
one,
usually that's difficult to admit.
yeah,
So kudos
yeah,
to him for being willing to share that story.
yeah, it was really just it took me by surprise, and it made me realize that there's things that I don't even pay attention to necessarily because
You
I
just
don't.
don't know. You don't
Yeah,
know what you don't know,
that's it.
right?
That's the gist of it, 100%. So here we go. So this is actually a great supporter of the show. This is we're gonna call him V Soto. Uh, so V Soto said, my first sexual experience. I don't remember who it was. I think it was one of the guys I met during the old Craigslist days. Like once again, you know,
Craigslist. I miss Craigslist personals. They were so much fun. Just to
they
read,
were
even just to read the ads or the comments.
they were amazing.
It was just interesting. It
Yeah,
really was. Like it
it
was an
really was.
entertainment piece.
And I mean, maybe it's different I mean, obviously it's different for women, but I never had a experience from Craigslist where it was a nightmare. It was either it worked out and it was fun, or it didn't, like nothing came of it.
Nothing panned out. Yeah.
So Viso just says he purchased them for me at a Walgreens close to his home and then told me to put them on and model for him. It was as hot as fjark. I don't bring the pantyhose thing into my heterosexual relationships. I'm bisexual because the last time I did it was met with ridicule. And I pressing further, he said I was 20 something and she just plainly laughed and asked if I was gay. Times were different and we had more to learn than we have today. this was today, it might be different, but coming from a conservative island, uh, Puerto Rico, during those days, the word gay was an insult and meant to ridicule and question the manhood of people, and it was difficult. And that's very brave to admit. And that's the thing that I think was talking about is that, and whoever, this like creature was that just laughed, boo, I say. So V Soto says that he actually came out now as bisexual to his girlfriend, his family, his friends, and his coworkers, and he has an open relationship too. And I said, "Wow, was this recent?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, does your girlfriend know you like pantyhose?" Well, she did not. And so I made an offer to him. I said, "If you talk to her about it, I will do a webcam session with you uh, at your leisure." He said, "It's a deal." And the good news is that he came out and told her about it, and good to go.
I want to get them both on.
You want to get them both on? I could ask about that. That would be a good
Yeah,
thing.
I get them both on.
And I'd get them both off. Heyo! That's a joke, Commodore.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. I see that you were doing your best
God,
impression of Wednesday Adams from, like Christina Ricci, just like,
I love her.
oh yeah, she's great. I had a
She
crush on her.
is.
I had a crush on her when I was little. Like
She was. Yeah, but even her as an adult now, like, still.
no, I mean she's like a
You
Marilyn
know what
Monroe kind
else?
of what?
She wears tights often.
She really does. She does.
Still to this day.
She does.
Like,
It's part of her
oh,
style.
I love her. She's great.
Yeah, she always did have tights on in pretty much a lot of her roles.
Mm.
Maybe she has it. Oh, would you melt down if you're like if you found out Christina Ricci had a pantyhose fetish? Oh, would you
I
just be
I'd been at the knee.
you'd be like, marry me, please, please. I'll do anything. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I don't care that there's a 10-year age gap. We're doing this.
A 10-year age gap. Jesus Christ, man. It's not like you're a sugar baby. She's not old enough to be your mom. Jeez. 10 years. She's like an older sister, maybe. 10 years?
If you're into that stuff.
No, no, not into that stuff. I'm saying that's not even a generation worth of time. 10 years.
No, no,
Completely reasonable age for a 30 something.
I didn't say it was a bad thing. I'm just saying I don't care about the age gap.
Well, I'm just insulted too because I'm the same age I think as Christina Ricci, and I'm like, basically, you're calling me that old, and I'm like, I'm not inappropriately old for somebody that's your age.
You're
Now,
inappropriately old. Oh, this thing cut out of focus. It was like I was giving you the finger and it like blurred it.
oh, that's nice. You know what?
I didn't give you the finger, that was my thumb.
Oh,
It
I
had like a
see.
little glitch.
You know what? And here's the thing. Behind the scenes, he's even nicer, everybody. He's even nicer. It's
I'm
like,
even nicer.
and again, but what they say, how like those people, when you're growing up and see a little boy, pulling the girl's ponytail in class because he just can't admit that he likes her. That's what I'm seeing here. I see you pulling on my ponytail, but you know what? I'm just gonna brush it off. So I'm just gonna.
Except the girls that I did pull their ponytails, I told to their face that I liked them. So I
Well
never
then,
got in trouble.
so then why the hell did you pull their ponytails?
I got their attention
Why don't you just tap them on the shoulder, you heathen?
because it was much more fun.
Yeah, well,
Catholic school. I don't know what to tell you.
oh, there we go. Catholic school. That explains a lot. It'll fuck you up worse than heroin. That's Catholic.
Yeah, yeah, it did. I think I had my ass beat like once or twice a day with like this
Oh
fucking
God.
2x4.
Did it have like suction in it? Like so it'd stick?
No, it was just a goddamn 2x4.
Oh my God.
I was
Jeez.
cut to about like that big. Yeah, and we get fucking whacked by the headmaster. It
And
was
do they make you pull down your pants too?
uh-huh.
Oh, you know what? That foul. Foul.
Oh,
Look,
it
that
was. And then the
that's
worst
so
part
gross.
is after I got the punishment there, I get punishment at home.
Oh.
So I got double jeopardy.
And did you get spanking again? So it was like, was it like getting spanked on the same spot? Like it's your all raw from the 2x4 and then you get spanked again?
Hmm.
Oh, man,
And
shit.
like my mom didn't know until
You didn't know?
God, no, she didn't know because she didn't understand why I never wanted to like anyone to get near me.
Oh, God.
And so she just thought it was a phase until I told her, I think I told her shit 10 years ago.
Oh,
She
my
about
God.
broke down in tears. It was like
Oh,
she goes, if I had known, we would have ripped you out of that school and
oh.
she would have made my father go a
Yeah.
little bit easier. But he didn't know that I was getting left at
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, because they're not masking you. They're not pulling down your pants
No,
to
they're not
check.
pulling on the pants and like so they didn't understand why I was whimpering so much.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's terrible. Jesus, I'm sorry. God.
And like
Yep.
still to this day, like I'm not like I don't like
Like a spanking fetish, you're like, uh-uh.
no, like I just don't like even my family knows this, like when they get close, they just they ask if they can give me a hug.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, so
Man,
it's like one of those where I just like I keep people at a distance unless I want them in. So even my own family members had to
the I was
figure
like
that out.
Karen on Will and Grace when she goes, "Don't come within this space." Like
God,
that's
yes.
that's like basically you just don't come within this space.
Oh, I get them with my face, so people tend to know it's standoffish.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
that RBF hard.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Oh,
RBF?
that's right. She's still that
Wait. RBF? What's RBF?
resting bitch face.
Oh yeah, no. Well, on with you for a
I'm
guy, it's
trying to
rest.
make that a disability so that
Dude,
it is a real thing.
I got resting dick face. I do. Like if I'm like basically people are like, "What are you so angry about?" I'm like, I was just thinking. Like that's all. I think it's because of my the prominent brow. You know?
Could be. Oh, we just have large foreheads.
No, because if that would be the case, then like that would include Dana Carvey, and he doesn't have resting bitch face. He has a large forehead.
Well, he's got a lot of cocaine in his system.
He doesn't look aggressive. He doesn't look like he doesn't look like irritated or angered. He seems
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
yeah, I know, but I mean
Seen it in
cocaine.
Pauly Shore. Oh my God. I want to talk about someone that has gone downhill
Oh,
on
well,
the
yeah.
slopes.
Yeah. I mean,
He far fall from grace.
yeah, he it's where it's kind of one of those times where it's like he didn't even get a little bit of plastic surgery. I mean, like all that money and you didn't like you let your face like turn into like a picnic basket that's come on
Oh no,
like
I
unwoven.
mean his mind.
Oh, well, he wasn't really there to begin with, like entirely. He was
I saw him live and
a disaster.
it was like horribly comedic that it was funny, but you're laughing at a guy who's pretty much bumping lines between the
Oh,
set.
it's like laughing out of complete discomfort and or like laughing is sort of laughing at him as opposed to with him. Ugh.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oof, well, I bet he
Rough.
has a pantyhose fetish too. Sure he does.
Most men do.
I know, but I'm just saying. I just thought I was
Mo
trying.
Most men have the pantyhose fetish, and whether they like to admit it or not, whether it's strong enough or not,
Whether
men they like to see others wearing pantyhose.
they haven't unlocked it yet. It's like playing them video games that the young people
It
play when
is
you
the it is the easiest fetish for guys or women to just do. It's literally an article of clothing. That's all it is. And people make such a damn fuss about it. But then they're willing to go all willy-nilly, damn near buck naked, and be absolutely okay with it. And they
yeah.
go, why are they gawking at me? Well, I don't know, sweetheart. Half your tits are hanging out, and so is your ass.
That's what you were saying to me the other day. I think you used
Yeah,
those exact
half your
words.
tits were coming out.
I was like, it's my body, my choice.
Yeah, well, guess what? You need to wax the pubes because the thing was coming out like Bobo the Clown.
How dare you? You know as well as I do that I keep myself very clean down there. I wear pantyhose. I'm not going to let my bush grow out some 70s style box if I'm shaving
Then
my legs.
why'd you paint it red?
Well, that was for you, baby. Your
No.
birthday. You know, it's because it's the color of clown's hair. I don't fucking
Mm.
know what to say to that. I don't know why I painted it red. I don't know. I felt like it needed to change, but it was a little sliver of red. I don't have a bush.
Yeah, but your
I
thong, the face of it, the front of it was the face of a clown. And your
what you?
pubes made the hair.
Well,
It was weird, man.
I
The
can't
clown
tell.
fetish.
Whatever. I mean, like you remember that much. You were so high on heroin you couldn't
Listen,
even see straight.
I'm good with the ball gags, brownie mix, and the clown porn, but they just took it to another level.
You know what? I'm gonna puke all over you. The brownie mix. Jesus Christ, that's dark.
Yep, we went
Oh,
real dark here.
that's dark. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for everybody for sticking through for this one. God, Jesus Christ, that's so foul. God,
You're welcome.
that is so foul. Oh God. Oh jeez, that's veering on dark web. Um, yeah, God, I was seriously. This is
Dark web.
pantyhose related, but I had to unfollow. It was like I was very much a fan of his Twitter until one day he decided to reveal that he was a fan of Brownie Batter, and I was just like block. And then he wrote like I found another way to write me. He was like, I don't know why you blocked me, and I was like, it's because of the shit. The shit stuff is yeah. Sorry.
We made sure it was Stouffer's.
I like that's yeah, no. I was like,
None
yeah,
of
no,
that Nestle shit here.
I cannot be scrolling down my Twitter and have anything like that pop up.
What, brownie mix?
Yeah. I don't care. You know what? I think that's the one thing where it's like, you know what? Pantyhose don't win over that. If there's that stuff involved, it could be wearing the best pantyhose and have the best legs in the world. No, thank you. Danka Abadanka 9.
Huck
Just leave.
nine. Huck nine.
Danka 9. All right. Well, I will check you later. Commodore,
See you. To
uh,
everyone, thank you for joining.
good night.
Thank you.